Tell me, how many hours would you personally estimate that you've spent in front of a mirror examining your butt and legs in the last 10 years? 5 hours a week? 3 hours a week? Putting in a conservative estimate of just 1 hour total per week, that's over 500 hours of hating on yourself. Yikes. That's like 400 movie sessions, 300 lunch dates, 200 brunch and market excursions, or 100 day trips to the beach. That is just ridiculous. Wouldn't you rather have spent those 500 odd hours doing something fun? Doing things that made you feel good and that made you feel happier? I wish I had. Now, if you and I don't know each other yet, I'm Law. I run Fierce for Life and have a background in nutrition and fitness. For a very long time, I struggled with having a fat ass and thick, flabby thighs with plenty of cellulite to boot. But recently, I've discovered a way to change all that, and I've never been happier with my lower body. Now, you're probably thinking, well, good for you, Law, but you're not me. And you're right, I'm not you. I don't have your genetics and I don't have your history. But I've done the research and the experimenting and the finessing. I know that what I'm about to tell you works. All my coaching clients, as well as women in 7 different countries, now have perkier butts, leaner thighs, and peace of mind thanks to this approach. Jenny, for example, lost 5 centimeters from her butt and 2 centimeters from each thigh. Kate is now wearing Daisy Dukes at every possible opportunity, and Emma lost 5 kilos. Results like this are why I'm so excited to tell you about this program. All these women felt that getting a sexy lower body was a lost cause. They felt like that was somebody else's life and they'd be dumpy forever. But they were wrong. All of these women were delighted and stunned to discover that they could get the butt and thighs they'd been dreaming of. It wasn't even that hard for them. And not only that, but it didn't take years of merciless slog to get there. They did it all in just 8 weeks. 8 weeks! That's nothing. If you're like me and the women I've worked with, you're sick to the back teeth of feeling ashamed of your butt and thighs. It's time to change all that. It's time to discover how you can transform your lower body. It's time you join the ranks of women who have made it to the promised land of a cute booty and sexy legs. It's your time, and I'm thrilled to be able to invite you to be part of the Better Butt and Tighter Thighs 8-week transformation program. We're launching on August 3rd, and I can't wait for you to check it out. It's going to be life-changing for you. You see, not so long ago, I was where you are. I was spending ridiculous amounts of time stressing about my cellulite. I was skipping events because I felt ashamed of my legs. I suffered through sweltering summers covered up because I couldn't bear to be seen in a bikini. And I got fed up with being given tidbits of information and incomplete workouts dished out to me by fitness magazines. My girlfriends were sick of making no progress despite slogging their guts out, and we were all sick of the doublespeak online and of being treated like fools by trainers who pretended to know what they were doing. You see, I've always had a big butt and thick legs. All this frustration and pain and humiliation have been building up for a long time. I have 3 younger sisters who are the very definition of willowy, and I had always felt the difference acutely. Being referred to as ghetto booty did not help. There were days when I would hardly leave my room just to avoid having to look at how slim they all were. A while after high school, I got a job in a gym. Now, slinging gym memberships wasn't an obvious choice for a girl who had pulled every trick in the book to get out of sports at school, but I wanted to try my hand at something new. Soon I was signing people up left, right, and center, and a few of them asked if I trained there. After a while, I figured that might not actually be a bad idea. Before long, I was training twice a day, every day. I'd stop by my friend's gym in the morning before work and do an hour and a half on a treadmill or stepper. Once I'd finished for the day, I'd do a spin class and a circuit on a few of the weight machines. I had gone from doing literally no exercise to busting my gut for 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. Needless to say, I lost a huge amount of weight, about 12 kilos or 26 pounds. But even though I was really skinny, I still had the orange peel cellulite and jiggle all happening in my lower body. Sure, it had all shrunk, quite substantially, but for me at the time, it just wasn't enough. I'd lost most of the fat on my arms and stomach, and soon I felt like I traded being pear-shaped for being just kind of lopsided. So I trained more. And yes, my lower body shrunk even more. But I got alarmingly thin. Weighing in at 52 kilos when I stand 167 centimeters is not a good look for me. But my body just never firmed up. It was always soft. There was always cellulite, and I just looked weird. It sucked, and it really got to me. I started bailing on catching up with people in favor of training. I'd always eat before I went out, so that I couldn't be tempted into eating anything bad, which at the time was anything that wasn't broccoli, whole grain bread, or chicken breast. I started spending so much time in the gym, my boss set up a bed for me in the back. At this stage, you know all the balance in my life was gone. To the degree that I missed a Mother's Day. I'll never forget the look on my mother's face when I rocked up to see her the next day. I instantly tried to justify myself to her, explaining how vitally important it was for my goals that I train a whole day on a Sunday when it was Mother's Day, and I hadn't seen her in weeks, or called, or sent a card, or bought flowers, or anything at all. It all came crashing down that day. I realized I'd become obsessed. I'd been totally overcome with tunnel vision, and getting lean and sexy and fit had become the only things that held any meaning for me. That is a scary place to be, and I decided instantly that I wanted out. So I quit my job at the gym and took a step back. This was not a lifestyle I could maintain or wanted to. I didn't want to lose all the precious people in my life. I didn't want to force myself into any more extreme diets or training programs that would have defeated Olympians. I wanted to have a life back. So after a few months of adjusting to a slightly more normal way of life, I decided to dedicate the next few years to experimenting. I didn't want to go back to being fat and bottom heavy, but I also didn't want to look like a rail. I needed to figure out exactly the best way to train and nourish my body. Life got in the way, of course, and I wavered between both ends of that spectrum. But ever since that fateful Mother's Day, there has been a constant thread of experimentation and learning. It's completely changed the way I treat my body, how I think about my body, and how I see everyone else's bodies. One of the first things I tried out was the classic eat 5 or 6 small meals a day method. Well, that drove me batshit crazy, and my car became a Tupperware junkyard within about a week. I was never satisfied after eating the small servings, and I was constantly thinking about food. That was just no good. It did not work for me at all. A while later, my then boyfriend, now husband, tried out the slow carb diet. I'd recently given up working in a bar, and I was feeling pretty soft without the 10-hour shifts of running around, so I figured I'd join him. While I wasn't a huge fan of eating the same predictable meals over and over, discovering cheat days was a revelation. Not only did they keep me sane and help keep all my cravings at bay, but my body responded really well to them. I lived for fatter days, and as you can see there, nothing was out of bounds. I lost 6 kilos that had crept up on me while doing the bar work, and I was pretty pumped about that. After a while though, that stops being an effective nutrition strategy. So it was time for a new experiment. I changed my training quite a lot at this time, and it had really impacted my body composition. When I was doing slow carb, I'd been training mostly with bodyweight exercises and going to Krav Maga classes a few times a week. I loved the cardio pump I got from all that, but after running the Tough Mudder gauntlet, I needed a new challenge. So I picked up a strength training program and threw myself into it. I also started eating more carbs and became much less strict about my grain intake. 2 months later, I couldn't get my legs into my jeans. I had become a card-holding member of the Quad Squad. Now yes, a lot of what I gained was muscle, but there was also an extra layer of fat that hadn't been there before. You see, the training program I picked up was really designed for men. It was supposed to make you gain as much muscle in as short a period of time as possible. I'd managed to convince myself that since the sales page said women could do it too, I would just end up being lean and toned. Well, that was wrong, so wrong. That was wishful thinking. I am a mesomorph, and it turns out I build muscle and fat really easily. So I ended up with bigger guns than many of my male friends had. Realizing that men and women do need different styles of training was a great lesson. It's vital to know, but at the time I really needed to reevaluate. I was determined to stay in my skinny jeans. So back to the grindstone I went. I knew enough now that I decided to wing it for a while. I created my own program and started doing intermittent fasting. My body gradually settled into the shape I'd been searching for, and I felt awesome. So today I want to share with you the 3 big lessons that finally got my butt into shape and helped my thighs to finally stop jiggling. 1. Weights are a girl's best friend. You'll not get the perky butt and lean legs you dream of without them. I'm sorry to say that running will not do it. You must never underestimate your hormones. They are the behind-the-scenes power brokers that decide whether your fat stays or goes. Finally, balance is absolutely vital to developing a great body. Your mental health has a direct impact on your physical health and appearance. You must respect your mind or your body will revolt. Now, as you may have figured, I'm a curious girl. Sometimes too curious, but when it comes to understanding how my body works, I figure there's no such thing as too curious. I only get one body, so I'm planning to make it count. I went to university and studied nutrition. I followed that up with a more holistic course at a private college. I'd spent a lot of time at the gym learning how to design great programs and how to supplement properly. But all of this was just for my own interest. I had no plan to make any professional use of this information because I just wanted to get a cellulite-free ass and be able to wear short shorts to the beach without feeling like an abomination. But once I'd started to get those results, my friends took notice. They begged me to help them. Soon, their friends were asking, and my boss was starting to get cranky. I had been caught out once or twice scribbling training notes for these women rather than paying attention in meetings. Oops. But I'd struggled so hard with the problem of an embarrassing lower body that I just couldn't turn them down. Now look, I know this kind of program might not be the thing for you. Having a structured plan that tells you exactly what to do is too intense for some people, and that's totally cool. You have to do what works for you. But if you choose not to follow a plan like this, chances are you'll be stuck with the saddlebags and the orange peel butt for a while to come yet. Your lower body will continue to suck up your precious time, attention, and happiness when you could have moved on to building a body you're proud of, a happy mind, and a life that you love. I promise there will be no hard feelings if this isn't the right fit for you, though. I get how daunting and hard this sounds like it could be. The important thing to realize is that all of those fitness magazines, the scammy websites, and the weight loss TV shows have been playing us for fools. They dish up all these exotic bits of information that have no context outside of a program and are therefore useless. They give you single workouts and standalone recipes that seem great. But all of this information is totally incomplete, and we're the ones stuck wondering what we're doing so wrong. Screw that shit. That's why I wanted to get this whole program out. It's the entire package. There's no BS, nothing is missed out, and there are no knowledge gaps for you to fall into. You won't feel like an idiot trying to follow it. You won't be confused at all. You won't be alone. Like I said, there are the 3 big things that women like us need when we're struggling to change our lower bodies. Those are strength training, smart hormonal management, and a balanced lifestyle and attitude. Leave any of those 3 elements out and you're stuck with the saggy, dimpled butt and the jiggly, flabby thighs for good. That's why most programs and all of the mass media hype won't ever work. So if you haven't already, jump on the early bird registration list so you can get this complete package. Just stick your name and email into the box there on the side and you'll be in. Don't put this one off. I'll be sending out some cool case studies in the next few days and you don't want to miss them. You'll also get early access to the Better Butt and Tighter Thighs 8-week transformation program and a special discounted price when it opens. Plus, you'll get a bunch of exclusives and bonuses that you can put to work immediately to jumpstart your lower body revolution. I can't wait to hear from you and to help you get the body you've been dreaming of. And I'll see you on the other side.